The Ohio State Buckeyes are coming off of a very convincing shout out of the Wisconsin Badgers in this past week, going into a bye before we head to. Oh, I'm sorry, before we are at home and we play the lowly Penn State Nittany Lions. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Garrison Gaddy, here at Ohio State Primetime Live here at the Voice of College Football. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you'd like to keep up to date with some of the new, all the information going on around college football, and keep up to date with the landscape of the sport, go ahead and check out our website at www.vocfb.com, where you can check the weekly schedule for all of our shows and our podcasts here on the Voice of College Football. Also, if you'd like to check out the audio platform, we are on Spotify, Amazon, and also Apple. But also on the website, we have our awesome writers there. Also do a great job of keeping everybody up to date what's going on the voice around college football, letting you know about the news that we have going on at the Voice of College Football. So make sure to do that. Also, check us out at vocfb/shop so you can get all of the Buckeye gear you need, whether it be sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, beer cozies, all that for you. So again, everybody, the Ohio State Buckeyes, we knew they were going to win this week. Wisconsin's not a good team. We talked about their defense, specifically their defensive line was really good going into the week. They were giving up 94 rushing yards per game and only 219 passing yards. But last Monday we spoke about it, and I said that I think that the Buckeyes are going to go out there, pass the ball, that they were going to try and get ahead of it early. It was a good game to go ahead and get that pass game going. I mean, you got to get it on tape. Shout out to my guy E, who talked about that throughout the weekend on the spaces on X. But I thought we did a good job of that. And the truth of the matter is the run game and that, we'll talk about that in a little bit. The run game wasn't where we wanted it to be, but it was still effective, and situationally it was, and it has been like that all season. But let's start with the offense here, everybody. 5 for 11 on third down, which I thought was really good. Right now, the Buckeyes are 53.7 on third down for the season. Mind you, last year's team, the 2024 national championship team, now through the whole season, they were at 43.7. So right now, doing a whole 10 points better right now, or percentage points better than last year on third down. We'll see how that upholds throughout the season. But right now, of course, you would take that. Over 50% of your completing over 50% of your third downs is it's really good. It's damn near elite. The Buckeyes also had the ball time possession for 33 minutes and 57 seconds. Again, Ohio State, one of the slowest pace of play teams in college football. They do a great job of suffocating you. They hold on to the ball, whether that be through the pass game and through the run game, and they play great defense. They get you off the field, put the offense back on, and then we tick. The clock goes down, and by the time you know it, it's the fourth quarter. You have nothing to show for it. So good job right there for the Buckeyes. They continue to prove their worth there when it comes to possessing the football. Julian Sayin. Last week, everybody, one of the segments for last Monday's primetime show was about Julian Sayin, and should he be more considered into the Heisman race, and can he do it, and does he have the stats to do it, or will he have the stats to do it, and then also will he have the big time games in order to have those Heisman moments? Well, right now, everybody, and by the way, if you go on FanDuel right now, and by the way, check our check this out, guys, because it's amazing based off of where Julian was at the beginning of the year to where he is now. Third in the Heisman race, plus 400 right now on FanDuel. I think this game, what it did was that it showed that Ohio, and again, it's not that we're saying Wisconsin is some juggernaut team, but they have a really good defense. And everybody wants to see if Julian could go out there, throw the ball basically like 35 plus times, and could he go through even like a 40 pass attempt range in the game? And he does in this game. Goes 36 for 42 on 9.4 per attempt, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns. Greatness. And it is not just the stats, it was the way he did it. You look at that first pass to Carnell Tate. I think he played the first 10 passes he had in this game. But that touchdown to Carnell Tate, wow. Perfect ball placement. Carnell, of course, going up with the ball, head being tapping to Wisconsin defenders. And we'll talk more about the receivers, specifically Carnell Tate, after we're done talking here about Julian. But you have that pass. You have the pass to the outside to Cardinal Tate again on the out route. And then you have the most impressive pass, I think, so far in Julian's young career. You're talking about that touchdown pass to Brandon Ennis. Brandon Ennis' first touchdown of the season. Uh, and just wow, the NFL level throws that he was making in this game were very much on display. Any answers, or I'm sorry, any questions you need answers to when it comes to Julian, I think he's answered it so far. I think the only thing now is, can he go win? Can he go beat the team up north? Can he go win a Big Ten championship? And can he go win a national championship? He's been in big games. He's gone against elite defense. The Texas defense right now, efficiency wise, is ranked number 2 in the nation, right? Or no, number 3 in the nation, right behind Ohio State and Oklahoma. He went against them. You went on the road to Champaign, and Illinois should be a top 25 team. That we basically knocked them out. I don't think they should have fall from 17 to unranked, but he does that, goes to Champaign, has a good game there, a really good game there. And again, when you watch Julian Sayin, he does a great job of not putting the team in danger. He doesn't make risky throws, but he's not afraid to put it up there and let his wide receivers go get it and test his limits as a passer, which he doesn't have many of. I mean, yeah, everyone talks about his arm strength, but I mean, that pass to Cardinal Tate was on a beam. 40+ yards on a beam to the end zone, and the same thing on the run to the right when he passed the ball to Brandon Ennis to the the path for the touchdown at the end of in the fourth quarter, at the end of the game. And so I there's not much you can say about Julian more than the fact that he has exceeded expectations than what we had this season. I think going into the season, I said he'll get somewhere between 35 and 40 touchdowns. He's close to on pace for that right now. I think he's somewhere around the 30 range. But man, I mean, the kid's spectacular. You see his pocket presence, just moving around, and it's unbelievable. Sometimes I forget that he is a redshirt freshman. He plays like a senior. He plays like a seasoned vet. A lot of people, I talked about this when we lost Will Howard, and I said, if you don't think Ohio State has a chance to exceed last year's quarterback play coming out of Will Howard to go into Julian Sayin, you're crazy. And if you think Julian Sayin was going to be a bust, I think even crazier. Everyone, for some odd reason, people don't understand what I mean when I say this, but coming out of high school, Julian Sayin was seen as a better quarterback prospect and recruit than CJ Stroud was. And that's not me saying that he is better than CJ Stroud right now, but I'm talking about them, how they were seen coming out of high school. Like Julian Sayin is that guy. And so far this season, he's done nothing but put on NFL tape as a redshirt freshman, and so far HEISMAN numbers. Shout out to Jay Book. He tweeted this earlier, and this is Will Howard's 2024 stats, and then in comparison to Julian Sayin's through 7 games. Will Howard, 1,795 yards. Julian Sayin, 1,872. Will Howard, 14 touchdowns passing. Julian Sayin, 19. Mind you, the schedule's been hard for this year's team so far. 4 interceptions from Will Howard, 3 from Julian Sayin. Will Howard throwing 74.7 completion percentage. By the way, Will Howard does own the Ohio State record for completion percentage in a season. And the guy that's on pace to crush it right now, Julian Sayin, of course, everybody throwing 80%, which is even crazier because it's the fact that Julian, his completion percentage dipped last week after last week's game from 80 to 78. And as you play more games, your completion percentage doesn't fluctuate 2 points up, 2 points down. It stays around the same or gradually goes down. Julian Sayin upped his number after going against a better Wisconsin defense this week, back up to 80%, leading the country. And also right now, everybody, these are the top 4 completion percentage in college football history. Number 4, Joe Burrow at 76.3 in 2019. Colt McCoy at 76.7 in 2008 from Texas. Mac Jones, 2020 championship year for him at Alabama, 77.3. The record is Bo Nix in 2023 at Oregon, 77.4. And of course, Julian Sayin is still at 80%. And shout out to Juck from Juck on Bucks for posting that stat. I got hit that from him. So thank you, brother, for doing that. But yeah, man, what else can you say about the kid? And now in terms of winning the Heisman, this is and we're gonna get more to the offense and the defense, but I think this is very important to point out. And as Buckeye fans, it's going to sound gross. You know, when I say this, I should probably go brush my teeth. But Julian Sayin's best chance of winning the Heisman, because you got to remember the votes have to be in for the Heisman December 1st, and the Big Ten Championship is played December 6th. Ohio State needs the team up north to win out if you want Julian Sayin to win the Heisman or to even be in New York, honestly. You know, we don't have really any more big games except for that one. I mean, we played Penn State after the bye week, and Penn State's fallen off very quick. I mean, Penn State doesn't even have a Power 4 win right now. So that's that can tell you how that game is going to go or how it should go. But, you know, the Wolverines right now sitting with 2 losses, 1 in conference. You know, you play them with the chance, you know, for them, that's going to be the game that they need to win to go into the playoff. Possibly still go to the Big Ten championship for them based on whatever happens at the Big Ten. And for Ohio State, you know, what we're looking for at that moment in time is to finish off a 12-0 regular season, leading into a Big Ten championship on the verge of trying to win a back-to-back national championship. And you have Julian Sayin there going into Ann Arbor. That right there is a script. That's a script that you want to see happen, and I think that happens. You know, I think Julian Sayin, these Buckeyes will pull it off over there to win the game. But yeah, man, Julian Sayin, what else can you say about the kid? He's doing great. He's doing great, and you know, you can tell how much Ryan Day loves him, how much he loves being the coach of him. And again, Ryan Day chooses the right quarterback to lead this Ohio State team for another year. Also, the running backs, Bo Jackson, 10 carries to 26 yards. Had 5 receptions for 57 yards, so overall good game. CJ Donaldson, 2 carries for 12 yards, 3 receptions for 26 gains, so okay game from him. Isaiah West, 9 carries for 55 yards. Talk of the town after that game that he posted. Freshman Isaiah West, and we're going to talk a little bit more about him here. And then James Peoples, no carries, but had 1 reception for 5 yards late in the game. Isaiah West, man, and by the way, overall 98 yards on 28 attempts, sack adjusted for 2 yards, so 100 total rushing yards outside of the sack. But you know, clearly it's a running back by committee, and that's I think is what it's going to have to be, because right now I think it's pretty clear between Buckeye fans and probably others that watch Ohio State that the most effective runners of the ball on a down-to-down basis are the 2 young bucks, and that's Isaiah West and Lamar Bo Jackson. Those 2, they run hard, and there's still things they have to learn about the college game. Sometimes they're running a little bit. They're not setting up their blocks as well, but they do a good job of making guys miss. But you know, in James Peoples, you know, we still got to see more from him. He's played great. I won't say great. He's played good in spurts. And you know, I'm gonna read some of the season stats for these running backs, and maybe it's gonna surprise some of you. But and then you have Donaldson, I think, who's a really good receiving threat. Of course, he came in as a tight end out of high school, but he's been playing running back for the last few years and done a pretty good job out of West Virginia to now at Ohio State. But we expect more out of them, especially with the offensive line that we have and what the offensive line is doing right now. Yeah, again, when you have 2 really young running backs, I don't think you can just live off of them. You still got to let those other guys get carries. I think they're probably also better in pass pro, even though Ryan Day has said that for them to get their black stripe off, you have to check those boxes, and both the young bucks have done that. There were some good runs in this game, but it's very clear that the explosives are missing in this team on the run game, and I think that's what it is. Right now, Bo Jackson is averaging 6.4 carry, CJ Donaldson 4.15, James Peoples just over 5 yards a carry, and then Isaiah West at 4.95, just under 5. So on like average wise, it doesn't look bad, but I think what the problem is that the Buckeyes aren't getting explosive run plays. Like when I say explosive, I mean you're getting those. You know, I think that the explosive run is like I think 10 to 15 yards, but I'm talking like we're not getting those 10, 30, 40 ones. We did a few games ago with Bo Jackson, but we're not getting that anymore. And that was only 1 per game. You know, he did it against Grambling and did it once against Ohio, or maybe twice against Ohio. I think once, yeah, because it was once. So once in each game. So Ohio State right now, we're not bringing out the big runs, and when you can't do that, you limit your offense from what it could be. I mean, you look at the pass game right now, the short, to intermediate to deep ball game is there. Julian Sayin leading the nation and passes completed over 20% or 20 yards. The offensive line is playing great. Definitely one of the probably, if not the best offensive line in the country, it's the second best at worst. I mean, look at the way they're playing right guard. Of course, you do want more for that. We'll talk about that in a little bit also, everybody. But then, I mean, if you in the short yards game, we can do it. We can do it. And also, going back to Julian Sayin, it's really nice to see that we don't have to put in Lincoln Keenholz for a 4th and short carry or a 3rd and short carry or for 2 yards or 1 yard or inches. Julian Sayin can go get it. You know, he's got the moxie and the toughness to go do that. So I think once Ohio State's able to go ahead and get those explosive runs, I think then we'll look at this run game a little bit differently. Again, they're not playing bad. It's just not explosive, and that's what we need more of. Off to the wide receivers. Shout out to Carnell Tate. Again, he puts on a master class as a wide receiver. Goes out there, 6 receptions, 111 yards. Of course, we all 2 touchdowns. The big catch to start the game on the first drive for the Buckeyes. That catch was just insane. That was insane. Then you see his helmet's getting ripped off while it happens. He pops up without the helmet and just yells into the crowd, man. Like, what a play by him. Jeremiah Smith, 9 for 97 yards. If you guys remember last Monday, I said this is a game where you spam Jeremiah. They did, of course. So again, 9 catches. I think what Jeremiah is doing really well so far this season, and I think it was on display in this game, is that coming out of last year against the teams that were really good at playing zone, Jeremiah didn't get open a lot. Of course, look at the game against the Wolverines, look at the Texas game. I compared it to, one of the things he had to work on was like when you watch Marvin Harrison Jr. in his last season, and everybody knew that Marvin was getting the ball, and everybody knew he was bracketed in zones, but he still got open and found a way to get the ball. Jeremiah's been doing a great job of that this year. It's a credit to him and the coaching staff and Brian Hartline for adding that next step to his game, because he is not a complete wide receiver yet, which is great to know for if you're a Buckeye fan. He's not complete yet. This is another tip of the cap to him and progressing his game. Brandon Ennis gets his first touchdown of the season. A lot of people were down on him to start the year without understanding or realizing that there are a lot of plays where Brandon was open. He just wasn't getting the ball because the ball went somewhere else, and you couldn't really be upset about it because Julian was throwing 80%. Like, it's not like he's just throwing the ball to BFE. The ball's going somewhere. But in this game, he gets a touchdown. Happy for him, proud of him. That was a really great play by Julian and him. I mean, for him to get full extension of the arms to get the ball where only he can get it, where Julian put it. Thumb to thumb. That's how you catch a ball, thumb to thumb, pinky to pinky. When you reach out, so good on him for that. He's gonna be a great player for Ohio State down the stretch here. Porter and Graham. Porter, of course, being the true freshman. Graham, sophomore, redshirt freshman, though. They come in. They both. Porter gets 2 receptions. One was a great player. He got the left sideline. Then you had Mylan Graham getting the game. And actually, there was a driver. I think he started for most of the plays in that drive. But he gets in there, gets a 1 catch for 10 yards, and does a nice little toe drag to get the one in. Of course, you guys know how I am about Mylan Graham. I'm not a fan, I'm a stan. And I think that when he gets his chance, more than likely next year, he's going to be one of those guys that the rest of the nation is going to have to learn about. Max Clare, 5 catches for 29 yards. So far, and right now, Max Clare isn't getting the plays that he's getting at Purdue. He's progressing as a player. I think he's going to be a 2-year player here at Ohio State. But you watch Max Clare over the last few weeks, he's starting to get his game going. Right now, Max Clare has 20 receptions on the season. By the way, this is his second 5-catch game, but he has 16 catches in conference. So, the first 3 games, he has 4 catches. So Texas, Grambling State, Ohio, boom. But then he comes in the Big Ten play, and you're starting to see him be more incorporated in the offense. And again, a guy like him and a guy like Brandon Ennis, as the season goes on, when teams want to put all their focus and put all their chips on the table for Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, those guys are going to have to get in there and make plays. Ryan Day talked about Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter last week, said that those guys they're going to need those guys during the stretch of these games for the Big Ten season going to the playoffs. And so it was really cool to see Ryan Day say that, come into this game against Wisconsin, and then put and practice what he preaches. So good job on that. To end here, great performance from the offense. Overall, great performance by Brian Hartline. Some notable PFF grades: Julian Sayin 91.4, Cardinal Tate 82, Austin Sarabelt 78.4, Isaiah West 75.4, Josh Padilla 74.1. And just in comparison, so we're all understanding here, Tegra started the game. Tegra had a 45.1 compared to Josh Padilla's 74.1 over there at right guard. So yeah, again, great performance right there from the defense, everybody. I'm sorry for the offense. Again, there's gonna be things you got to work on. I also think during this bye week, it's important that Coach Lott gets that rotation down, because again, as we get later to the season, we need to know who our guys are running back, and we need to know who we can trust and who we can give the ball to. Because at the end of the day, man, if you can't run the ball, it's gonna be, if we can't run the ball at an effective clip in terms of also getting explosive plays, it's gonna be really, really hard to win this championship and go back to back. Before the season started, I didn't think that we would be. I thought we'd be in the conversation, but I didn't pick us to win the championship or even get there. Whereas now, it's as of now, man, that's the bar now. That's what we got to do. We got to go back to back. But first, there's other things we got to accomplish still, and those running backs need to be a part of it. Again, everybody, thank you all for coming here tonight, here to watch Ohio State Proud to hear the voice of college football. Shout out to Rob Howard coming in here. Always glad to see you, everybody. Hope you're doing fine. Haven't seen you in a minute, but again, hope you're doing well. Shout out to Daniel Henry. Says, Garrison, I'm scared. I've seen all 22 film. Tegra and Phillip Daniels got worked against Wisconsin. They did. Phillip Daniels didn't play that well either, especially in the run. I think Phillip Daniels, in terms of the pass game, he's fine, but in terms of the run, man, we can't go over there. And Daniel, I mean, I just read the PFF grade for Tegra, 45.1 compared to Josh Padilla at 74.1. Yeah, that doesn't cut it. And going into this week, after Josh Padilla outperformed Tegra last week, I said, in this against Wisconsin, against the defensive line, I think it's very important that Josh Padilla gets every single snap up with the first team, then even the second team against Wisconsin, because I think that he's clearly the better player at right guard right now. And if Phillip Daniels, if he continues to struggle, maybe then you also, you still have a swing tackle and Ethan Anyama, but I'm not sure. It might be too late in the season to do that now. But in spot duty, you might need that. So I'm right there with you, man. Yes, he was. Like, I didn't think it was too bad on the outside, but you are right. Phillip was constantly beat inside on pass, bro. He was. It wasn't a good day. It wasn't a good day for Phillip. That was probably his worst game that he's had this season. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highs. Happy Monday. Hello, everyone. Hello to you, Daniel. Always glad to see you, my friend. Shout out to Buckeyes Battle Cry. Everybody, if you don't already, go subscribe to them. It was one of the best highlights I've seen from Ohio State the last 2 years. I thought no way he exceeded Howard's completion percentage. He manipulates the pocket so well. Shout out to Peter, man. Shout out to Peter, man. Glad to see you, my friend. Yeah, Julian Sayin is just he's outstanding. There's no other way to say it right now. He's I right now I'm on full blown Julian Sayin propaganda mode. I think he's the best quarterback in the nation until proven otherwise. I'm going to keep saying that. Everyone says, "Oh, but look at the weapons that Julian Sayin has," and they use it to discredit him. But then I'm asking, okay, well, C.J. Stroud had a better wide receiver unit, probably the best wide receiver unit in Ohio State history. It is the best wide receiver unit in Ohio State history. And did you do that to him? No. We took it for what it's worth. You saw a quarterback going out there completing insane passes. And I think you're getting the same thing out of Julian. Peter also says, Sayin can make every throw, manipulates the pocket so well, keeps his eyes downfield, and remains cool under pressure at all times. Oh, yeah. He's cool as a cucumber. He is cool as it gets, man. He really is. Shout out to the Honorable Jam. Hi, Garrison. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, you got it. Come on, Jam. Come on. You can't be doing that. You're supposed to be here you're supposed to be here 30 minutes before the show. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. But no, Jam, thank you for showing up here. Good to have you here, my friend. Shout out to Sage, Ohio. It's a great day to be a Buckeye. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Day one K Porter Graham got reception. Yep, talked about that, man. Again, that Mylan Graham catch was beautiful. That was great. That was great. Honorable Jim, our right side of our line is a liability, as our kicking game is. Our game, yeah. Hope we fix it soon. I'm right with you. I am right with you. Mad Max and Bi will be big down the stretch. My God, Max, I couldn't even say that. Mad Max and Bi will be big down the stretch. I agree, man. I agree. And then of course James has played the two freshman running backs. Couldn't agree with you more. All right, before we continue, quick message here from the voice of college football.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Also, speaking of gambling, everybody, participants must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, everybody, if you took my picks last week, I was really upset about the Notre Dame game because I had Notre Dame winning, but I picked USC to cover that 9.5. Of course, they lose by 10, but also I was right about the 9.5 for Minnesota playing Nebraska. So everybody, make sure at the end of the show you pay attention to the best we post here. Go to our friends over there at Novig. Spin 5, get 50. Use the affiliate code VOCFBOSU again. That is VOCFBOSU. So everybody, let's get to the defense here. Another great performance here that's going to lead into a deeper conversation about this defense and what they are and who they are. Caleb Downs, 6 tackles in this game, 6 solo tackles. He was everywhere. And it's not surprising. I mean, I feel as though you can't stat watch safeties in general, but speaking just simply about Caleb Downs, you can't stat watch him because what he does on the field for this Matt Patricia defense, this Silver Bullet defense, it goes beyond the stat sheet because he is the 12th man on the field. With that mind he has and how he dictates where the ball goes, whether it be in the pass or the run game defensively, is just amazing. You know, he goes in there each week, game to game, performs at a high level, gets the secondary where they need to be. You know, they call Ibn Olsen says, they call him Coach Downs, and they look to him to know where they have to be placed at the right spot. I thought, in the first game, for Jermaine Matthews being over at the nickel position, then you have Devin Sanchez starting on the outside, the boundary corner. They look like they didn't skip a beat from earlier in the season. So great job by Caleb Downs in this game. Arvell Reese, again, putting on the best tape in college football going into the NFL draft. 2 tackles for loss and a sack. Just an amazing player. I think a lot of us fans knew Arvell Reese had it in him. But then you see his body change coming out last year. He was more thin, and now he's a tank. He's athletic. He's fast. He's twitchy. He doesn't miss tackles. He plays coverage. He's a complete linebacker who can play edge also if you need him to do so. He's powerful. He pushes through offensive tackles like it's nothing and gets to the quarterback. There's nothing right now that Arvell Reese does not do at least at an A grade. Arvell Reese right now looks like one of the greatest linebackers I've ever seen in Ohio State history. in my lifetime, you talk about the AJ Hawks, the Ryan Shaziers of the world, uh, the James Laurinaitis is his linebacker coach, and he's up to par. He's up to par. Ohio State hasn't had a linebacker like this in a very long time, and that's just a fact. Caden Curry, tackle for loss, sack, 3 solo tackles this game again, being one of the most underrated players right now in college football. Doesn't get talked enough about. And Jerry and Mick, we need you to do that, brother. We need you to do that. You do great things for Ohio State, but we need that. But I think that when you watch him play, Hayden Curry, man, he's an energizer bunny. He brings the energy to the team. He brings a lot of swagger to the team in the defensive line. He makes plays, and I think that's all you really want out of him. And he does it on a game-to-game basis. Next, Kenyatta Jackson. He gets a sack in this game. After talking about being on the edge more and coming towards instead of just setting the edge there and just being an anchor for the edge on the defensive line. K-Mac always being great in the middle, doing what he does every week. Again, he's up there also with one, if not one of the best defensive tackles, interior defensive linemen in college football. So another great day out of him. Ohio State, that we held Wisconsin to 9 first downs. Awesome. 10 for 11 on third down, 144 total yards, 49 of that pass, 95 of it rush. Right now, Ohio State, number 1 defense in the country in terms of points, efficiency. Number 2 in terms of yards given up, opponent yards. So right now it's operating at an elite level, and a level that somehow exceeded last year. And I don't want to say I'm overly surprised by it. I am, because last year's defense is one of the best ones ever come through Ohio State. It was number 1 in the country last year. One of the best defenses in the CFP era, and this team is better than that. This defense is it's better. It flat out is. So far this season, 41 points per game given up, 5.8 per through 7 games. That's the lowest through 7 since 1998 Florida State, who gave up 31. And now, I think the conversation the conversation for this defense has gone from, you lose 8 guys on the defense from last year, the national championship defense. Specifically on the defensive line, everyone around the country is asking questions. You have to make a few different moves there at the corner position now. And now the conversation has gone from that to, can this be one of the greatest defenses historically in college football of all time? I want to show this to you all, because, again, it just shows how amazing this defense has been. Right now, this is Ohio State compared to the 2021 Georgia team, as you guys see here on the screen. Of course, they give up 6.6 yards per game. We're giving up 5.9. They give up 208.3 yards per game. We're at 216.9, 3.5 per play. We're at 3.8, and both of us have only allowed 4 offensive touchdowns. And when you ask me personally, right now through 7 games, whose is better, I'm going to tell you Ohio State. I'm going to tell you that, because I think giving up almost a point less is more important than giving up about 8 more yards. Right now, everybody, we're seeing something special here, people. We're seeing something special. And these are some of the best, one of the best silver bullet defenses I've ever seen in my life, at least through 7 games. And I don't plan on seeing it get worse, because the simple fact that the schedule won't allow that. The best offense we play from here on out is either UCLA or the Wolverines. And so, and those 2 teams, I don't think they can score 20 on us, let alone maybe 15 or 16. So right now, what we're seeing from this defense is all-time stuff. It's all-time stuff. Matt Patricia, has exceeded anything. I'm not going to say anything. When it comes to the X's and O's and having this defense prepared and stopping the other team, Jim knows that he did not have this defense prepared like Matt Patricia does. He does not. This defense on a week-to-week basis is ready to go. It doesn't skip a beat. It does not skip a beat. The run game is there. The pass defense is there. The corner, like, at what position do you think Ohio State right now doesn't have a top, at least a top 5 position duo or top 10? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, because I would say in the segment at corner we have one of the top 10 duos with whether you want to say Jermaine Matthews, Igbenogson, and Devin Sanchez, and even throwing Lorenzo Styles in there. At safety, talking Jay McClain and Caleb Downs. So I don't think there's a better safety tandem in the country. There's not a better linebacker tandem in the country than Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. And then you can even throw in Peyton Pierce there, who we're going to talk about here in a second. And then when it comes to defensive line, that's a top 5 unit. That's a top 5 unit in the country, in my opinion. So again, man, the Silver Bullet defense is looking how it should. It looks awesome. It looks great. Again, they are all just like the offense. They're exceeding expectations. To end right here with the defense, a few PFF scores, notable ones. Edric Houston, 67.2. Tom Malone, 72.5. By the way, that was Edric's first game back. He had a really good game on Saturday. Caden Curry, 77. And then the best score for the day for the game was Peyton Pierce at 81.1. We look back at what Mike and I have talked about this, but we talked about last week, Wednesday, actually, when during the offseason in the fall, James Laurinaitis said that Peyton Pierce is just as good as Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. He says he sees those two right here, and he's right there. And I think when he gets in the game, you can see it. He gets his helmet in there every time on the run, and he can pass it. And of course, he has the interception this season. So yeah, good job by the defense, good job by the offense, great job by the coaching staff, the coordinators, the position coaches, the water boys, the trainers. Over halfway through the season now, as sad as that is to say, but the Ohio State Buckeyes, they are on a historic pace right now. And if they can end this season the way we believe they can, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think the worst thing for the nation would be for Ohio State fans to see their team go back to back. And I'm 32 years old now. I've seen a Heisman, I've seen a national championship, I've seen a 14 championship, I've seen a 12-team championship. I've seen us dominate the Wolverines for damn near for basically 20 years. I've seen us win Big Ten championship at the Big Ten championship. The only thing I haven't seen that is my team go back to back, and when I see that, boy, oh boy, I'll be one of the more unbearable fans on this show for anybody else that's not a Buckeye, and of course all social media. I can't even lie to you guys. Can't even lie. Again, everybody, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and share the link. Subscribe to the channel if you like our content. Again, we're here all week for you, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and post games when Ohio State plays. Message here from the Voice of College Football. Get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football, and let's discuss how we also can help you reach your target market. The Voice of College Football is a growing network with a large following, so let's find out how we can help you grow with us. Check out the experience of one of our current partners, that being Win Agency, posted here on the screen, and just like them, we are here to deliver for you. Contact us at sponsorships at vocfb.com. Again, that is sponsorships at vocfb.com today. So I want to go through here in the comments section again, everybody. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the discussion in here. Talk about what you guys want to talk about, what's going on with the Buckeyes, anything else that you want to see fixed from this team. And of course, everything else going on in the college football landscape. Jam, she says, love that the second team stayed tough. Love that final hit. Oh my God. I forgot to talk about that. That's why I have great people in here, great friends like you, Jam, in here to remind me of things like this. Aaron Scott. That boy's a headhunter. That's for sure. And actually, here I'm gonna post this as a question because I think this is fairly funny to ask. But this is gonna be the question, everybody. Actually, we're gonna do a poll. For Aaron Scott and his career at Ohio State, what do you think the over under is for him to get to get targeting calls? Okay? So we're going to how about we go 1 let's go 0.5. Let's go 0.5. Over under 0.5. Aaron Scott Aaron Scott targeting calls while he is at Ohio State. No, but he's playing great right now. No, when he gets in there, I think he plays good coverage. I think he played great, pretty good coverage in the spring game when he was actually going against Mylan Graham for a lot of the spring game. But no, shout out to him, man. Love that. That's the energy you in the game with. It reminds me of that Josh Proctor hit against Wisconsin years back to end the game. Also, yeah, the second team, last week I got frustrated last week against Illinois when we put the second team, man. They allowed a touchdown, then right away Matt Patricia goes ahead and puts the first team back in. But they stayed strong this time, and that's what you want to see. You want to see guys come in, get those reps, but play tough and and keep the standards from the first team. That's what you want to see. Shout out to Linda Jackson, OHIO. All damn day, baby. All damn day. Day 1K, something has to go terribly wrong on offense for T-Ton or UCLA to score over 14 points. I agree with you. It has to be an act of God. That's just the fact. That's just the fact. Linda says, Garrison, I am just in time before you end your channel. Oh, yeah, we're here. We're here. We still about 20 more minutes left. Should be having someone actually join here to have a conversation I think you guys would enjoy regarding our quarterback and theirs. But yeah, always glad to see you guys get in here. If you do miss part of the show, you can always rewind it for later, or you can listen to us on all audio platforms at Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Day one says, if Ryan Day goes back to back, I'll have to take back everything I said about you capping for Day. Oh, yes. No, Day one. If Ryan Day does this, please believe me, you are one person that I have, especially if Ryan Day were to go like 16-0. If he does that, I'm calling you to the altar. And what's going to happen is that we're going to have to baptize you in the banks of the Olentangy River. So to reaffirm your football faith in Ryan Day hiring Ohio State hiring Ryan Day. We're definitely going to have to do that, my guy. Definitely going to have to do that. All right, so let's talk some Big Ten talk real quick, everybody. Of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it all, everybody. A lot of things happened in the Big Ten this week. Let's start with Iowa here. Iowa moves to 5-2 on the season, 3-1 in conference play. Right now, Iowa's only losses are to Iowa State and to Indiana, and they lost both those games by a combined 8 points. Iowa should be ranked right now. I think they should. We always give credit to teams, that play really good teams and they lose. Of course, Iowa State, they're still really good. It's still a good team. But then you have Indiana, who's one of the best in the nation. Iowa lost to them by 5 at their own house, but they lost only by 5 and gave them a run for their money. And Iowa can do that to teams, especially at Kinnick Stadium. Excuse me. So, no, great outing by Iowa. I think right now Iowa's exceeding expectations for everybody. They're definitely exceeding mine. I didn't think they were going to be this good this season, but of course 3-1 in the conference. You can't be mad at that. UCLA. A couple of weeks ago, I said I think it might be time for us to have a new conversation surrounding UCLA and how they're playing, what they are as a team since they fired their head coach. They beat Maryland to move to 3-1 in Big Ten play. They're on a 3-game win streak. Of course, they lost their first Big Ten game, but they're again 3-game win streak. You started the season off terribly, and now you come to conference play, and you're beating teams that actually have a pulse. Maryland had a pulse. Now, I'm not saying that Maryland was some great team, but they were on the verge of being ranked. They were probably a few games away from doing that, and had they beaten UCLA and then maybe won another game, they probably do. Because at the time, Maryland had 2 losses. So good job by UCLA. The Wolverines, no, they beat Washington 24-7. The game was closer than the score showed. but it's a good, a good comeback win coming out last week where you got thumped by UCLA in a game that wasn't competitive at all. And you come back the next week and play another West Coast team, a good Washington team who should have been ranked going into this week. Of course, the Wolverines are now ranked, I think 24th to 25th now after this win. But yeah, good outing by them. Bryce Underwood, not statistically, but I believe he had his best game of the season so far. So yeah, good job by them on winning that game. Like I said, everybody, if you want the Julian Sayin Heisman propaganda to happen, you have to hope that the Wolverines win out this season. That's just the truth of the matter, because that's going to be the biggest game he's going to play for the season. That's at least for the regular season. Also, Minnesota, I mentioned earlier, they covered that 9.5. They beat Nebraska, and Minnesota moves to 3-1. And now, leading into now, we're over halfway through the Big Ten. We're about halfway through Big Ten play, and in the middle, and I want to take Oregon out of this because they are 3-1. But I think, of course, we all know that Oregon's above these teams. But right now, sitting at 3-1 in Big Ten play, you have Northwestern, USC, Teton, Minnesota, Iowa, and UCLA. That's 6 teams, not including Oregon, or that's 7. So overall, 7 teams in the Big Ten right now, sitting at 3-1, jockeying for position. This is it's really important now because you have Illinois, Washington, and Nebraska at 2-2, who could easily beat these teams that are ahead of them right now in conference play. And I think right now it's really cool to see the Big Ten, even though I think the Big Ten isn't getting the credit that it deserves. You clearly see the middle of the Big Ten, the pack of that, the middle pack of the Big Ten getting better at football, passing the ball better. But then you also see some of these teams like UCLA, Northwestern, USC, and Iowa being ahead of the teams that we thought, Illinois, Washington, Nebraska, who would be ahead of those teams in terms of the conference play so far this season. So I'm really interested to see who ends in that final top 5 to 8 teams in the Big Ten and seeing how it works itself out. Of course, a lot of these teams, most of these teams have to play each other still. But if I had to tell you right now, I would say USC probably finishes out. Basically, they still got to play Oregon. So we'll see how that looks. That's gonna be a really big game. I would assume College Game Day goes there, depending on what the USC does. You have Iowa, Nebraska. They still got Iowa and Washington. They're still out here. UCLA. They still got to play some good football teams. So yeah, it's interesting, man. I think the Big Ten right now is a fun watch. I think the Big Ten is if you look at the rankings, you would say that most people would say, oh, the SEC is top to bottom better than the Big Ten, but I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree. And so, yeah, good job by them. All these teams in the Big Ten. I think that by the end of the year, I think we'll see Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon finish out the top 3. But yeah, that's the Big Ten for the week. Next, let's get some of these best bets for the week. And again, everybody must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But these are my best bets for the week, and I think these are pretty good because I think that some of these games, as we've learned more, we got more data points on these teams. And so right now, first I want to point out Cal 4.5 dogs at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech can't stop a leaking faucet. That's the truth. They could have a bleeding nose, put a douche in it, and it still wouldn't work. Cal, of course, they have their freshman quarterback, Segapatele, one of the better freshmen in college football, one of the best freshman quarterbacks in college football. I think they come in here. I don't think they cover that. I think they win, but of course, this is much safer to cover that 4.5. So I have them doing that. Again, that's Cal plus 4.5 against Virginia Tech. UCLA at IU over 53.5. I think IU booked them for 40 points in this game, 40 to 50 points. But I think right now UCLA's offense is going. They're finding a rhythm right now with Nico back there. He's using his legs a lot more effectively since they fired their head coach. I think they're going to be able to score some points on IU. Michigan State was able to do that. You saw Aiden Childs actually have a few good runs in that game. I think Nico can do much more than that. So, yeah, I'm going to take UCLA at IU, 53.5. Next, you have Ole Miss plus 4.5 at Oklahoma. I wanted to pick Ole Miss money line. I really, really, really wanted to, but I'm not confident enough in that. Of course, Trinidad Chambliss. Shout out to Trinidad Chambliss out of Ferris State, last season national champion there. Also out of Fort Worth Northern High School from my city here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Really good player. He's been doing great things down there. I'm proud of the young man, being from the state. But I think Ole Miss is good enough on defense to slow down Oklahoma's offense. Of course, John Mateer came back. I think he'll be fine this week, coming off that injury a little bit early, I believe. But I think Ole Miss is going to score some points, and I think Oklahoma could score more than them. But I think Oklahoma's offensive line is still not that great. I think their run game as a whole is not that great or even that good, up to par to what it possibly should be compared to other teams at their level. And so I think Ole Miss is good. Defense is good enough to do something about that. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss to cover that 4.5 against Oklahoma. Next, this is my risk it for the biscuit pick. All right, LSU is coming off of a loss to Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's a top 10 team in the country. It's a really good team. But I'm confused on why their offense is what it is, especially with Brian Kelly being the offensive guy that he is. I mean, their defense is stifling. It's so good. And I think that their defense gets put in a lot of bad positions because of the offense. But I'm here to tell you, everybody, Texas A&M might be a top 4 team right now, but not for long. I think LSU is going to walk in there against Texas A&M and get this W. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how. Again, this is the type of bet you don't put your mortgage on it, but you put if you're comfortable putting a hefty number on it, and you can risk it based off what you would get from it. This is the game to pick, because by no means is LSU supposed to win this game. They're not. And Texas A&M, they've gotten through it so far this season. They've beaten Notre Dame, even though I think Notre Dame would beat them today. They have a couple other wins in the SEC, not the toughest line of games or slate of games that they've had so far in their schedule. I think LSU can get this win. They've had a couple tough losses, but I think that their defense has a really good game. I think this is one of those games your offense can find a way to get clicking. Texas A&M's defense is okay. It's okay. I've had a few people try and tell me that Texas A&M's defense is pretty good or really good. I'm not hearing that. Texas A&M gave up 42 points to Arkansas, 24 to UTSA, and then also 22 to Utah State. I think LSU can do that. I think the Bayou Bengals can go ahead and get that and win this game off of their defense. So yeah, man. LSU right there, money line versus Texas A&M. UCLA at IU, take the over 53.5. Ole Miss 4.5 against Oklahoma. Then Cal covers that 4.5 against Virginia Tech. So it looks like I'm still waiting to see if our guest is coming. I'm still waiting for him right now. But until then, everybody, I want to answer some of your questions in here. Everybody, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in here. Any comments that you thought about the game. See, the Jam, a lot of pundits are saying Alabama is actually the best team. Yeah, I've seen that. And in my latest top 16 power rankings, I actually put I dropped Indiana to 3 and moved Alabama up to 2. Now, though, I think you can make a great argument for Indiana being number 2. What I can't do is just poo-poo beating 4 ranked teams in a row. That's impressive, and you're doing it within your conference. Of course, we still know that though I think I can make an argument the Big Ten's better. The SEC is still a great conference. 1A, 1A, 1B right there with the Big Ten, and they have good teams. And Alabama is playing good teams, and they're winning these games. Of course, they have a tough slate to end the season. But I mean, right now, Jam, I'm telling you, you in for. If I don't care if I'm a one. And by the way, Jam, I don't care about that Florida State loss. Florida State's trash, and I don't care that they lost that game. I mean, I have to remind people sometimes, in 2014, Ohio State lost to Virginia, a 6-win Virginia Tech team, and still ending up beating Alabama and beating one of Oregon's greatest teams of all time with the Heisman Trophy winner in Marcus Mariota. So, I mean, hey man, they're impressive right now. I think Julian Sayin, along with Ty Simpson, the two best quarterbacks right now playing football, and Mendoza. I think those are the three best quarterbacks right now in college football. But yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that too, Jam. Do I agree with that? No, nor I'm guaranteeing you don't either. So, shout out to Nick at night. I agree. Was he? Oh yeah, here we go. Kelly is on the hot seat. Yeah, he is. And I hate to say it because I am a Brian Kelly stan. I've been a fan of him since he was at Grand Valley State. I remember being a kid watching those games when he was coaching there. Greatest defensive D2 coach of all time. But my goodness, man, this is supposed to be one of your better teams you've had. I had them losing to Clemson in the national championship, and my goodness, that pick is so bad. But yeah, it's he after this season, he's gonna be on the hot seat. Nick also says Notre Dame has an easier remaining schedule. Yeah, they do, and they're gonna win out. They're gonna win out. This USC game was the last test, and I thought they passed that test against a really good team who I thought was going to be if USC had won this game, I was going to pick USC to be a playoff team. Of course, Notre Dame. I brought up those two losses to Texas A&M and Miami before. They lost those two games by a combined 4 points. But I think as we've gone on through the season, you can tell that man, that Notre Dame team is just good. I think that as much as people want to hate on it, when you watch them, I ask people all the time, when you watch a team, tell me what you see. Like when you watch a current team, tell me what you see. And I think that when you watch Notre Dame play a really good USC team, and they beat them by double digits. I don't know, man. It's really impressive. I told everybody after that loss, those two losses to Texas A&M and Miami, don't sell your Notre Dame stock. Don't sell it. So yeah, man, it's impressive. I think this is a wide open race right now for the playoff. In terms of the playoff, I think there's maybe about 5 to 8 teams. I kind of know who are going to make it, but outside of that, man, there's a lot of football to be played, a lot of conference game to be played between everybody, especially the Big Ten and the SEC. Look, everybody, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content that we bring to you here at the Voice of College Football and at Ohio State at the Voice of College Football. Again, I am your host, Garrison Gaddy. Don't forget to join me on Thursday for the Ohio State call-in show, which is your show for you to call in, join the comments, join the chat. Tell me what you guys want to talk about. Again, you are also the voice here, the Voice of College Football, and it's not just me and everyone else here on this channel and this network. And as always, OH, IO.